April the 1st, April Fool's Day, and it's time for the morning briefing. Snapshot of the region this morning. We do have some updated numbers from the unaccompanied children. No changes to our declaration status this morning. Just before we went on the air this morning, I did get an update from the IAPDAs. Arkansas and Texas are now complete, but we have added 2 counties for Oklahoma. And looking at the PA ones, as you see there, Arkansas PA PDAs were completed earlier this week. No fire management grant requests to talk about this morning. Now, as we switch over to the Geo platform this morning, lots of stuff going on out there. Brian's going to tell us all about that here in just a moment. Before we go there, we do know that the National Watch has gone to Enhanced Watch to support the nuclear summit going on in D.C. The NRCC remains at level 4, as is the region. Looking at our state EOCs this morning, all are at level 4 except for Louisiana, which is at crisis action team level. Both of our IMATs are deployed. Looking at shelters this morning, Louisiana has 2 for 42 occupants. Texas has 2 for 23. Those have started to trend down very slowly over the last couple of days. Looking at power outages this morning, Arkansas 38, Louisiana 645, New Mexico 226, Oklahoma only 4, and Texas being the highest at 4,087. Now we'll turn it over to Brian to tell us about the weather.
Okay, good morning everybody. A fairly active weather day across the region today, and then things will quiet down this weekend and into early next week. We do have quite a bit of activity on the radar this morning. Showers and thunderstorms, generally speaking. Really don't have any severe weather ongoing right now, except for just offshore. We do have a few marine warnings in the upper Texas coast and along the Louisiana coast. Out west, we have some showers that, believe it or not, are transitioning over to snow in southeast New Mexico, and that is expected to continue to cool down, and we're expecting about 1 to 2 inches of snow for southeast New Mexico and into the Permian Basin of Texas from this morning through early afternoon today. Taking a look at the river summary, we continue to have the ongoing river flooding in Louisiana and East Texas. All those areas have crested. We still are hanging on to 2 areas with major river flooding. The one there at Monroe will actually be dropping below major later today or into tomorrow, and then we'll be down to 1. The 2 areas that will be increasing will be across southern and eastern Arkansas and extreme southeast Louisiana, north of the Lake Pontchartrain area. We'll see a rises up into minor river flooding, so no major impacts with any of that activity. That'll be increasing in the next few days. As far as for today, the focus for severe weather and flash flooding is going to be over southeast Louisiana, and that'll be primarily this afternoon and evening for the I-10 corridor southward for the flash flooding, and then this severe thunderstorm risk will expand even a little bit further to the north of I-10 into the boot heel there. And so that'll be our focus for severe weather today, primarily damaging winds, although we could see a couple of tornadoes briefly pop up. And then, as mentioned, we do have the light snow out west in southeast New Mexico and into the Permian Basin. That'll be primarily just some slushy roads, and we really shouldn't have any major impacts with that. And as I mentioned, things go very quiet this weekend and into early next week, and then our next chance for any sort of hazards will be on Tuesday, where critical fire weather conditions will start to rear its ugly head again in northeast New Mexico and into the panhandles. So for today, we do have a slight risk of severe thunderstorms, again, primarily damaging winds, with that system that's going to be tracking out of the region later on today. You can see the rainfall amounts there today over southeast Louisiana. Primarily going to be, again, extreme southeast Louisiana, south of I-10 there with the flash flooding risk for today. By the time we get into tomorrow and the rest of the 5-day period, you can see it's almost identical, the 5-day and today, meaning that almost all the precipitation we're going to get in the next 5 days is going to occur over the next 24 hours. Looking at space weather, things are fairly active. We do have a minor geomagnetic storm that is ongoing today and into tomorrow, but really no impacts to the region expected with that activity. And that is all I have, unless there's any questions.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate that. In the meantime, today is Fema's birthday. 37 years ago. And Cindy puts a note in the chat window there reminding us of the hazardous awareness seminar today. Links are there. Thank you, Greg. Any other questions this morning? Everyone